How are you doing? Today is Friday, November 12th, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Thursday, November 11th, 2021. Just to take a quick snapshot of where we are in this calendar year, the MLB season has been done for about a week now. The NFL season is right in the middle of its season, as college football is about a month away from being over. In the NBA is about a month in, as college basketball is still in its first week. And also taking a look overseas, these are about the last qualifying games before FIFA World Cup. At least if these aren't the last, these are the penultimate matchups. These are taking place. They took place yesterday and they're continuing to take place today. So that's where we are in terms of soccer. First, taking a look at what's going on with college football, the only ranked opponent to play yesterday was the 21st ranked team in the nation, the Pittsburgh Panthers. They hosted the unranked North Carolina Tar Heels, and the Pitt Panthers were able to win this game 30-23 in overtime. They scored all 23 of their regulation points in the first half as they outscored UNC 23-7. UNC outscored Pitt 16-0 in the second half to force overtime. And then in overtime, it would after UNC hit a field goal in the last minute to send the game into overtime, it would be an 11-yard touchdown pass from Kenny Pickett to Lucas Krull to give the Pitt Panthers their 8th win of the season. The Pitt Panthers were led by their starting quarterback, Kenny Pickett. He threw for 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Pitt's leading rusher, Israel Abanikanda, would finish with 12 carries for 63 yards. He also had 3 receptions for 28 yards. That would be 91 total yards of offense. Pitt's leading receiver, Jordan Addison, had 6 receptions for 84 yards. Their second leading receiver, Jared Wayne, had 3 receptions for 70 yards as he had a touchdown. And Lucas Krull, who had the game-winning touchdown, had 4 receptions for 51 yards as his game-winning touchdown was his only receiving touchdown. On the defensive side of the ball, Servasea Dennis would lead the team in tackles as he had 9 of them. He had a sack as well as he had 3 tackles for loss. Habakkuk Baldonado would finish with 4 tackles and a sack and a half on the day as the team combined for 5 sacks. MJ Devonshire would finish with the team's only interception to go along with his 3 tackles. With this win, the 21st ranked Pitt Panthers are now 8-2, and they are now 5-1 in the ACC. With this loss, the unranked North Carolina Tar Heels are officially 5-5. They are 3-4 in the ACC as everything stands right now. Taking a look at what's going on in college basketball, the only team to play yesterday was the 21st ranked team in the nation, and the Maryland Terrapins hosted the unranked George Washington Colonials, and Maryland was able to beat George Washington 71-64 as George Washington outscored Maryland 1 in the first half. Maryland outscored George Washington by 8 in the second half in order to remain undefeated. The 21st seed Maryland Terrapins were led in scoring by their starting forward, Qudus Wahab. Qudus Wahab would finish with 18 points, 15 rebounds, and 2 blocks in 24 minutes. He went on to shoot 7 for 10 from the field and 4 for 6 from the foul line. With this win, the 21st ranked Maryland Terrapins are 2-0 to start their season, and with this loss, unranked George Washington is 1-1 to start their season. Taking a look at what's going on in the NFL, the Miami Dolphins hosted the Baltimore Ravens in the very first matchup of Week 10 this season. The Miami Dolphins would end up beating the Ravens 22-10 after they outscored Baltimore 6-3 in the first half. They also went on to outscore Baltimore 16-7 in the second half, all of the scoring happening in the fourth quarter. The Baltimore Ravens were led by their elite starting quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Jackson completed 26 of his 43 passes. He threw for 238 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. He was also the Ravens' leading rusher as he had 9 carries for 39 yards. That would be 277 total yards of offense for Lamar Jackson for the day. The Ravens' leading receiver, Rashad Bateman, had 6 receptions for 80 yards. Their second leading receiver, their tight end, Mark Andrews, had 6 receptions for 63 yards and the team's only receiving touchdown. The team's defense was led in tackles by Marlon Humphrey. He would go on to finish with 7 tackles on the day. And for the Miami Dolphins, before I get to that, Justin Houston would have a sack to go along with his 3 tackles as well. The Miami Dolphins were led by their elite starting quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, as he completed 8 of his 13 passes. He threw for 158 yards. He also ran for a touchdown. That would be his only touchdown of the day. Their other quarterback, Jacoby Brissett, would throw for 156 yards and run for 4. That would be 160 yards, giving him more yards than Tua. The Miami Dolphins' leading receiver was Albert Wilson. He had 4 receptions for 84 yards. Their second leading receiver, Isaiah Ford, had 4 receptions for 84 yards on the day. On the defensive side of the ball, Byron Jones would lead the team in tackles as he had 9 of them. Their elite cornerback, Xavier Howard, would finish with 5 tackles and a fumble recovery. At the same time, Justin Coleman would have the team's only interception, as he would have his go alongside his 3 tackles for the day. With this win, the Miami Dolphins are 3-7 on the season, and with this loss, the Baltimore Ravens are now 6-3, as this kicks off our 10th week of NFL football. The NFL season will, of course, resume on Sunday. Taking a quick look at what's going on in the NBA before we take a look at what's going on outside. Starting off in Philadelphia, the first primetime matchup featured the Philadelphia 76ers, the reigning number 1 seed in the East, and the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors would go to Philly and beat the Sixers 115-109, winning the game by 6 after they outscored Philly by 11 points in the second half. The Philadelphia 76ers were led in scoring by their starting point guard, Tyrese Maxey. Maxey finished with 33 points and 5 assists alongside 2 blocks in 40 minutes. He shot 12 for 19 from the field, and he made all 8 of his free throw attempts for the night. The Toronto Raptors were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard, Fred VanVleet. He finished with 32 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists in 40 minutes. He shot 11 for 22 from the field, 6 for 11 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the foul line. Their starting small forward, OG Anunoby, finished with 20 points in 39 minutes as he shot 7 for 15 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the line. And their starting shooting guard, my former classmate, Gary Trent Jr. out at Duke, finished with 20 points and 5 rebounds as well as 2 steals in 36 minutes. He shot 7 for 16 from the field, 4 for 9 from 3, and he would make both of his free throws on the night. With this win, the Toronto Raptors are 7-6. With this loss, the Philadelphia 76ers are now 8-5 on the season. Taking a look at what went down in Salt Lake City, the Utah Jazz, the holders of the best record in the NBA last year, hosted the Indiana Pacers, who came into this matchup with a losing record. The Pacers would beat the Jazz 111-110 after they went on to outscore Utah by 9 points in the first half. The Utah Jazz were led in scoring by their elite starting shooting guard out of Louisville. Donovan Mitchell finished with 26 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals in 33 minutes. He shot 11 for 20 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, and he made his only free throw attempt of the night. Their elite starting center out of France, Rudy Gobert, would finish with 19 points and 11 rebounds in 31 minutes. He shot 7 for 10 from the field and 5 for 7 from the foul line. The Indiana Pacers were led in scoring by their starting point guard out of Virginia, Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon finished with 30 points and 9 rebounds in 37 minutes. He shot 10 for 23 from the field and 8 for 9 from the foul line. Their point guard off the bench, TJ McConnell, would finish with 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists in 30 minutes. McConnell shot 10 for 14 from the field, and he made his only 3-point attempt of the night. With this win, the Indiana Pacers are now 5-8. With this loss, the Utah Jazz are now 8-4 on the season. Last but not least, taking a look at what's going on in Staples Center, the Los Angeles Clippers hosted the Miami Heat. The Clippers would end up beating the Miami Heat 112-109. The big difference would be the middle two quarters. After Miami took a 15-point lead in the first half, the Clippers would outscore the Heat by 13 in the second and by 10 in the third. The combined 23 in the middle two quarters would be enough for them to get the win. The Miami Heat were led in scoring by their elite starting center, Bam Adebayo. He finished with 30 points and 11 rebounds in 40 minutes. He shot 12 for 18 from the field and 6 for 8 from the foul line. Their elite starting point guard, Kyle Lowry out of Villanova, would finish with 25 points, 5 assists, and 2 steals in 38 minutes. He shot 9 for 17 from the field, 4 for 10 from 3, and a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line. Their starting shooting guard out of Kentucky, Tyler Hero, finished with 23 points and 7 rebounds in 39 minutes. He shot 10 for 23 from the field and 3 for 4 from the foul line. The Los Angeles Clippers on the winning end of this matchup were led in scoring by their elite starting shooting guard, Paul George. He finished with 27 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals in 38 minutes. He shot 11 for 25 from the field, 3 for 9 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the foul line. The Clippers starting point guard, Reggie Jackson, would finish with 22 points in 31 minutes. He shot 7 for 17 from the field and a perfect 6 for 6 from the field. Their starting wing, Eric Bledsoe, would finish with 21 points in 40 minutes as he shot 9 for 16 from the field, and he made his only free throw. With this win, the Los Angeles Clippers are 7-4 on the year. With this loss, the Miami Heat are now 7-5. Taking a look at what's going on overseas with these World Cup qualifying matchups, of course, starting with the European matchups in the table. Starting off with Germany, it would be Liechtenstein 9-0. They would get 2 goals from their goated center attacking mid, Thomas Müller. They would get 2 from their elite winger from Bayern Munich, Leroy Sané. Marco Reus would add another, and their only penalty kick goal would come from Ilkay Gundogan. Spain was able to beat Greece 1-0 as their only goal came from Sarabia's penalty kick in the 26th minute. Croatia was able to beat Malta 7-1 in Malta as Luka Modric was able to add a goal. So was Ivan Perisic. Taking a look at what was going on in South America, Brazil, host to Colombia, was able to pull off a 1-0 win thanks to Lucas Paqueta's 72nd minute goal. And then really taking a look, that's basically what was going on, at least for the big matchups for Champions League or for World Cup as we navigate through this qualifying stage one day at a time. And with that said, I want to thank everyone for listening to all 13 minutes of this piece. I also want to thank the ESPN websites along with the college football, college basketball, NFL, and NBA websites because I actually needed all 4 of them today. I apologize if I butchered any of the names. I imagine I did. I do plan on eventually getting them right. And once all of today's exhibitions and matchups are done, I will come back tomorrow on Saturday the 13th for another episode of The Elite. And until then, thanks for listening to this piece. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with another episode tomorrow. Peace out.